So if you want to learn the front lever, let's take the beginner example.
Right.
If I want to learn front lever and I cannot do a front lever, how would I get there? In that case, I wouldn't do much specific training at all. Let's say you can do like five chin-ups and you're like, I want to learn the front lever. Build your chin-ups. Like you can't lift at all. Nothing's happening. So you could do some specific work. You could do some front lever negatives. You could do some band-assisted front lever holds. But it really depends how close you are to that front lever. If you can't do a single chin-up, I would say don't even worry about the front lever yet. Let's build a foundation. Let's do some chin-ups. Let's do some hanging leg raises. Let's do some tuck sits. Get some strength in those constituent muscles, and then we'll move that towards the front lever. When you're close, when you can control the front lever negative, like a tuck front lever negative, and you can hold a band-assisted lever without the band like fully holding you up, so like a thinnish band, throw in some band-assisted holds. So the way I would go for a beginner, a couple of times a week, I would do a few band-assisted front levers, maybe 3 sets of 10 seconds with a light band trying to hold it. I would also do some front lever negatives. So kick to inverted on the rings or a bar and just tuck and try and control the negative. There's your specific exercises. Then you want to build muscle in the constituent muscle groups for the front lever. So chin-ups to work your shoulder extensors, maybe some hanging leg raises, trying to bring your knees to your triceps to work the abs and hip flexors. If you did that twice to 3 times a week, let's say 3 sets of each of those exercises, 2 to 3 times per week, you would unlock the front lever probably with ease fairly quickly. The tuck front lever, that is. Now, to progress to the full front lever, you want to extend the legs. That lengthens the lever arm of the body, means the shoulder extensors need to produce more force. How would I go about that? Once again, I would do some specific strength work. Specificity is key. So you want to get good at the front lever, you need to do some front lever training. You want to get good at the bench press, you need to do some bench press. So people often say there's no best exercise for a certain goal. There's no best exercise for chest. You could do flies, you could do bench press, you could do push-ups, you could do pec deck. I fully agree. There's no best exercise for building muscle mass. However, when a skill is involved, like a bench press, you want to get good at the bench press, there is a best exercise for that. It's the bench press.
Yeah.
Specificity is key. You want to get good at something, do that thing. If you want to get good at the front lever, you need to be doing the front lever. You can get transferability. Like if you double your weighted chin up, you'll probably get some front lever gains, but probably not as much as if you had to also train the front lever. Practicing that specific skill is key. So to start with, when you're fresh, do the most important exercises first. Do some heavy front lever holds. And rather than periodize your training with strength and hypertrophy, I would take an approach where you do a few different intensities throughout the week or throughout a session so that you get the benefits of high intensity and lower intensity work. So for example, if I want to get the full front lever and I can hold a single leg front lever or a straddle front lever for 5 seconds, okay? Build that up. So I would let's do a 5 by 5 second hold to start with. 5 by 5 second straddle levers, 3 minute, plenty of rest between each set, leaving, 1 or 2 seconds in reserve, 5 by 4 seconds or 5 by 5 band assisted, whatever you want. Do some heavy front lever work, then do some front lever raises. We can also keep that heavy. Let's do a 5 by 3 front lever raises, slow tempo. So you're controlling the movement through range, the highest intensity you can. After that, you might do a band-assisted hold, get some extra volume in, or you might do an easier front lever hold, like an advanced tuck, 3 sets of 20 seconds, throw in some pull-ups, some L-sit chin-ups, some rows, whichever supplementary work you want to address those muscles. Dragon flags are great. Do that for a few months and you'll have improved your front lever.
Awesome, man. Do you feel like chin-ups or pull-ups assist the front lever better?
I don't think it matters. Okay. I suspect I've heard this debate a lot, and I think there are reasons to say one would matter more than the other. But think of it this way. This is what I always come back to. When you're trying to get better at a skill like the front lever, the most important exercise is the front lever work, right? So front lever holds, front lever raises, front lever pull-ups, band assisted front levers. There's plenty of options. Front lever negatives, whatever you want. Even ice cream makers are a bit more specific, right? I don't love them, but they're accessory, more specific exercise. So front lever exercises are what matters, right? And the exercises that you do first in the session are the ones that are going to confer the most benefit. Those are the ones that you do when you're fresh. When you're fresh, you can perform better. They're the ones that are going to improve the most. By the time you get to your pull-ups and chin-ups, right, then pull-ups and chin-ups aren't specific to the front lever. They're mostly for building muscle mass. It's not so much about addressing the skill of the front lever. So when you talk about all of these things that influence strength, the lever you're pulling the most with those is building muscle mass. Maybe you get some benefits of being able to recruit the relevant fibers through doing those exercises, but by the time you get there in your session, you're relatively fatigued, and it doesn't matter whether you do chin-ups or pull-ups at that point. So you could argue pull-ups are better because you use a pronated grip. Pronated grip is what you use in a front lever. It's more specific. You could also argue that in a pull-up, you use more of an abduction pattern. You flare your elbows more generally. You can do pull-ups with your elbows in, but most people take a wider grip and they use more adduction than pure shoulder extension. Whereas a chin-up, you can't flare your elbows because you're going to hurt your wrists.
Right.
So with a chin-up, you can't flare your elbows as much. You use more shoulder extension, which is the line of pull that you're using in a front lever. So you can make an argument either way. Pull-ups better, chin-ups are better. Personally, I don't think it matters. By the time you get there, whether you're doing pull-ups or chin-ups, you probably get the same benefit. And nobody has studied this. Nobody's taken 6 weeks of, nobody's taken participants for 12 weeks, made them do some front lever holds, and then you guys just do pull-ups, you guys just do chin-ups, and we'll see who's better at the end of this 12 weeks. It hasn't been done yet. I don't think it's ever going to be done. And yeah, like I said, I don't think it matters. So it's like, what's better for the bench press? Pec flies or pec deck? And like dumbbell flies or pec deck. You could make an argument either way. I think if you're training the bench and you're doing that as your accessory work, who cares? By the time you get there, you also get diminishing returns with training volume. So, it's not like, I think most people are pretty aware of this, which is like, if you do 1 set per week of an exercise, you might get better at it, right? But if you do 2 sets of a week of an exercise, it's better.
Right.
And if you did 3 sets of an exercise, you would improve faster. And if you did 4 sets of an exercise a week, you would improve even faster. But that doesn't just keep going. So you see this curve that kind of flattens out and potentially turns into this kind of inverted U. You do 10 sets a week of an exercise, awesome. 10 sets a week of bench press, that's probably a great spot to be to make progress for most people. But if you do 20 sets, you're not going to get twice as good as doing 10 sets, right? And you also see this with hypertrophy too. And what's happening with the front lever exercises is you're doing your first 6 sets of your back, right, with front lever work, like with specific front lever work, maybe 12 sets. You're doing all this specific front lever work. You've provided a good stimulus for muscle growth. And this extra little sprinkle on top with pull-ups or chin-ups is going to give you like a small benefit.
Right.
If you do them at all, it's not like you'd see a world of difference. You might progress 10% slower. Right. So yeah, pull-ups versus chin-ups, I don't think it matters. I don't think anyone has the answer. I used to say I would prefer doing chin-ups more because it kind of forces you to keep your elbows in, which is that same action, more similar action to the front lever. But honestly, I don't think it matters. Choose the one you prefer and progress over time.